Today, September 29th, the Phillies take 2 of 3 and punch their ticket to the postseason. Keller and Oviedo finished their seasons, and we only have 3 more games. You're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Yins, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh, and I'm joined as always by my brother Jake. What's up, Jake?
Not much, man. Not much.
3 more games.
Yeah.
I don't know.
3 more.
It's bittersweet.
It is. I mean, we're playing a little bit better baseball right now. We have been since the end of August.
Yeah. Up until this series, really. Well, either one of those first 2 games, really mostly the second game.
Yeah, the second game got away.
Yeah. Could have been ours.
Should have been ours.
Well, I said either. Yeah, I'm still going with either one of the first 2.
Yeah.
Either one of the first 2 could have been ours. So, yeah. No, I still playing well.
Yeah.
Well, we've got 3 more against the Fish. We just finished up with the Phillies. And the wild card scene is still pretty nuts. Let me refresh here and see if Seattle, they're losing. So that's the American League side. And the Marlins have taken the lead in their game. And there's a delay in the top of the 9th. But they do have the lead 2-1. So, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting times. It always is. Last week of the season and the last little bit. It's fun to look around and see what the other teams are doing. Sometimes I get caught up so much just watching the Pirates all year that I tend to kind of lose track of the rest of the teams. I know there's sometimes end of the year I watch a team and I'm like, who the heck is that? And he's got like 25 homers and I'm like, how do I not know about this guy?
Yeah.
And then it reminds you of why people don't know about anybody that plays for the Pirates.
Right.
And it's like, oh, yeah, I get it. Win number 75 today. 75. If we're counting. We're getting close. You need a sweep to get your prediction right. They've already beat mine by 2. 1 more win for Katie, and her dad will forgive their bet, where she said they would at some point get back to 500. This was months ago. They'll get back to 500. He's like, there ain't no way. They bet $5 on it, and it did not work out for her. But then he said, if they can get back to if they get to 76 wins, I'll erase the bet. Okay. So that's her goal at this point. And that was like a month and a half ago or something. And he was like, they're not even going to get to 76. And then they went on that run,
Yeah.
So anyway, I know everybody's got their own thing that they're like, I don't know if it's kind of that time of the year where you're like, I don't really know if I care about it. It's a lot of fun to do them. But like in the end, like, do I want to be right? No, I picked 76 wins. I don't want to be right. You know what I mean?
Right,
So like, I want them to be better than that. There's no win there, but it's not as fun at the end of the year as it is at the beginning of the year.
I don't know. I think I'm the opposite. I think it's a little more fun at the end of the year than it was at the beginning, because I don't want to pick them to win 78 games. But if they got a chance to hit it on the nose, like, I'm like,
I got you. Yeah,
you'd
rather than win 88 games.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Regardless. But at this point, now you're just trying to hope that your projection was right. It's a little interesting. I mean,
it gives you something else.
I still have a chance, but at the same time, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, Marlins fighting
got a
for
team
a spot.
Fighting.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's unlikely, but yeah, never know.
Yeah.
Never know. Okay, so we'll talk about that. So before we talk about the Phillies series, O'Neal Cruz taking BP.
Dude, launching balls.
That's a good thing to see.
Yeah.
So I think I mentioned it. Monday that the guy behind me said he was out on the field fielding ground balls before the game. And I wasn't there before the game. So he's like, yeah, I saw Neil Cruz out there fielding ground balls. I was like,
Nice.
all right. And now taking BP and like taking enough BP that upper deck, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost third deck, they said.
It's crazy.
Gotta love seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
What'd I just bump? So anyway, let's get in the series as I get distracted by my screen moving around because I bumped the side scroll button. Game 1, we lost 3-2. This was one of those things I was telling you about. Pitchers duel, Aaron Nola, Mitch Keller. Both of them really had the good stuff going.
Mm-hmm.
Keller, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. He gets strikeout number 210, which is the most, let's do it, the most by a right-handed pitcher in franchise history. And I know they showed the graph online on the show, on the broadcast, about the 2 people that are ahead of him, but there's 3. I don't know why the Pirates only go back to 1887 when they've been around since 1882. They only go back to the beginning of the National League when they left the what was it, American Association or whatever, and went to the National League. So anyway, even since 1882, he's still right-hander because there was one guy in 1882, Harris, I believe, but he was left-handed as well. Got into a little bit of a back and forth, and no other team has 3 lefties at the top of their 2 leaders in season strikeouts. You know how this works. Somebody says, I wonder how many other teams have 2 lefties. And I said, I can find that out. So I found it out. Turns out it's the Dodgers and the A's. Yeah, the A's, Vida Blue and somebody else. There was one other team, and now I can't think of it, but there was one other team. So 3 teams had 2 lefties at the top, which was how the question was asked first because of the broadcast graphic. And then it was like John Drecker comes in, who's the historian. I'm sure that you guys have heard of him, and he's all about the 1882 thing, to which I'm like, yeah, I'm looking on Baseball Reference, and I see 3 because Baseball Reference also goes back to 1882. So we're the only club with 3 lefties at the top. The Mariners. Did I say the Mariners? No, I said the Dodgers and
A's.
And the Mariners are the other one. And Felix was number 3, so they, you know what I mean? So it's interesting anyway, if it matters at all. It also is kind of terrible that we've been a franchise for 140 years and 210 breaks the record for right-handers. That is also kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So
surpassed Batman.
Yeah. Yep, and he sent out something.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. So if you're talking about Keller, we may as well talk about the 6th inning. Something happened on a pitch to Brandon Marsh. Looked like he hurt his arm. Andy goes out to check on him. Here comes Shelton. Here comes the trainer. And just trying to figure out what's going on. And he's kind of shaking his arm, and he threw a pitch. He says, I'm fine. Of course he's fine. He has a goal to get to 200 innings. And so I kind of I was watching, next pitch, right down the middle, home run, solo shot. There goes the no-hitter. There goes the shutout. 5 no-hit innings before that. And I thought, okay, well, he's not right. So let's get him out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I'm at with it. It was the very next pitch. And then he gives up a single. And then he gets Kyle Schwarber to ground out, but he gets another single, throws a wild pitch. Bryce Harper, sac fly on 170-mile-an-hour line drive to center field. And finally, Alec Boehm gets out. None of that was really soft contact. Mitch Keller finishes the 6th inning. Those 2 runs is all he gives up. But at the same time, he gave up those 2 runs, and he probably only needed to give up, maybe neither of them, actually. Neither of them. Why does he not just come out of the game?
Right.
Like, aren't we protecting him at this point?
You would think.
So it's way too risky. And I was freaking out. Twitter was freaking out. Anybody I heard talk about it was freaking out and upset, and rightfully so, because we don't have any information. Turns out, on his follow-through, he hit his funny bone. Now, if that's just a story, then thanks for making me go into the offseason feeling okay about you.
Right.
Hopefully it's not just a story. Hopefully that is exactly what happened. He is still skipping Sunday's start. I wonder if that was already in the plans anyway.
Yeah, probably.
But he is skipping the start on Sunday, so his season is over. He will not get to 200 innings. I don't know if any damage can be done by hitting your, you know what I mean? Like by going out there and throwing after you hit your funny bone. I'm assuming none, or else I would hope that they wouldn't have let him stay in there. Like if the trainer could say like, hey man, you can't pitch when you hit your funny bone. Like you're going to have to let that thing rest or whatever. I mean, if you can't pitch with a hangnail, then you can't pitch with, and you hit your funny bone maybe. I don't really know. Either way, it made him less effective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't look sharp after that. So I think maybe, the funny bone, maybe we just need to get out of there.
Right.
In this scenario. Hopefully it's not a big deal. It does make a little more sense why they left him in. I guess I'm not mad anymore. Although I think, maybe be more cautious this time of year when you're out of it.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, once you find out it's a funny bone, it's like, well, I guess I'm not really mad about it anymore.
Yeah, and I'm sure he was out there begging to stay in.
Yeah, and that's where I said, of course he is, but we can't be messing around with that.
Right.
I don't care if he wants to stay in or not, is the way I was thinking.
Ultimately, it's not up to you.
Yeah, the manager has to make that call.
Yeah.
Moretta comes in.
Sometimes that's the tough call you got to make too. Like,
right.
That's your job, dude. You got to make the call.
That's right. Don't chicken out because the player says, I want to stay in.
Yeah.
Moretta came out and goes an inning and a third, 3 strikeouts. Money Moretta. Big bank. Bednar falls victim to the Manfred runner, and how do you not get your guy in?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I saw a comment that said, yeah, this Manfred runner thing's terrible. It always favors the home team. Which I kind of thought about that, and I was like, I don't know that it does. And so I looked it up, and it absolutely does not. The away team wins most of the time. I think it was like 102 and 93 in favor of the away team this season. And I looked up a lot of stuff. I can tell you right now, and maybe I'm happy about it, maybe I'm not, but I can tell you right now that I have a spreadsheet of all of the games in the 10th inning, 11th inning, 12th inning, clear to the 14th inning, every game, how many runs were scored by each team, who won the game, whether they were home and away, all of those things, adding them up, trying to figure out what the deal is. Turns out you score more runs if you're the away team. Maybe that's because you don't bunt a guy over because you're like, well, yeah, we can't play for 1. We have to play for 2.
Right.
So I was just trying to look up, like, what's the percentage of if you just get 1 run, how well do you do? Well, you actually still win a lot of games if you just get 1 run in the top of the inning. You're still well on your way to winning. So yes, just get the 1. And if you can get more than that, great.
Yeah.
But get the 1 first, because I think it was like the chances of the home team going out there and scoring 2 were pretty minimal. Like there was a lot of times when you got 1 that the home team tied you. But for whatever reason, it just favors the away team. I don't get it, but that's what I found out. And I don't have it up, and I haven't come to any like real conclusions, but I thought it was really interesting. I know I sent some of the you know what, I probably could bring some of it. I did send some of it out. I don't know if I have to go to replies here and I don't know how long it was in all the things that I said. Yeah, here we go. Home teams are 93 and 102 in extra innings. And based on just the 10th inning, not going deeper than that, when the home team scored more than 1 run 33 times, the away team scored more than 1 run 59 times. So the away team is just scoring more than 1. When the away team scores more than 1 run, they're 52-7. So you say, play for 2. When the away team scores just 1 run, they're 34-22. Odds are still in your favor.
Right.
And if you don't score in the 10th, at the top of the 10th, you're 16-64. Get 1 run.
Yeah.
Get 1. Then see what happens. Because then you start talking about the 11th inning and all those. Now, you know what I'm saying? There's more numbers than that. But the thing is it does not favor the home team. It highly favors the away team, according to results. And that goes, I tried to look up a little more today. And instead of doing my own research, I was like, what are people saying about this? And I guess going all the way back to 2020, it favors the away team when they first introduced it. So it's kind of weird, but when you have the point is, man, we need to get rid of this thing in general. I saw a couple people that said they did like it. They don't want games that are 19 innings, and that's fine. That's fine.
Like I said, I'm still like, I don't love it. I don't hate it either. As long as they don't do it in the postseason, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and they're not. But yeah, Bednar, like I said, just kind of falls victim of that a little bit, and they walk it off. Reynolds and Davis homer in this one. Reynolds number 24. Game 2. 7-6. Another 1-run game. Oviedo goes 5 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 2 homers. But that was not his whole story. He looked good early on. 3 scoreless innings. And then 4th inning is double, strikeout, walk, hit by pitch, ground out, run scored. Stubbs hits his first home run of the season for a 3-run homer. It's all of a sudden a 1-run game. And then gives up a solo homer, very first hitter, to make sure that we tie it. And he's not done there. Double, line out, single, run scored. And then finally get out of it. Tied up 6. I said 5-4. We got a run. We answered right after that to get a run. Yes, in the top of the 5th. But then they scored 2 more, tied it up. His day's done. Connor Judd, 4 hits, 29th double. That's surprising to me. If he can get to 30. Hayes, 2 hits. Triolo, 2 more hits. Stolen base. He's swiping bags. Nick Gonzalez finally got a first start after being called up. 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. Pretty bummed about this, man. I was really rooting for him to get that call.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it hasn't gone well. 0 for 3 today, too. He did have a walk, but another strikeout. And they played him at shortstop because that makes sense. I can't... I don't know why we have to continually to give opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to Bay. Like, why over everyone else is he getting the most opportunities?
It doesn't compute to me. I don't understand it.
I mean, we can't be playing matchups on September 28th if you're saying, well, lefties hit better against Zach Wheeler. Come on, man. Like, That can't be your reasoning.
Yeah.
Or else Endy would have been in the lineup.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're DHing Reynolds, and I get that. That's fine. But, jeez. I don't know. Anytime I see Andujar in the outfield, it's so funny. You start to look at a lineup and you say, well, they're packing it in for this one. And that's the one they end up winning. Granted, they won it by only scoring 3 runs, but they won. Ortiz goes 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, only 1 run. Good way to finish your season, Ortiz.
Yeah.
Moreta goes an inning and a third with a strikeout again. Dowry Moreta, how many outings in a row here since coming back? He's had, so the Cincinnati and 2 in Philadelphia, no hits, no walks, just 7 punchies in 4 innings.
Yeah.
You talking about what a way to finish your season? I mean, it looked like he was gassed, that the back injury seemed to be obviously bothering him. He wasn't even pitching that much in AAA, and they're like, we're calling him up. And I was like, man, I hope we don't have to see him get blown up again and then have people say, we're giving up on him, we're giving up on him. And that's not the case.
No, he's been throwing the ball really well.
And the fact that he's come out there and thrown 2 2/3 and an inning and a third each time, that 4 innings can't be right, is it? Is that math work? I mean, I'm looking at 5, I'm looking at 6 innings. Why does September say 4 innings? Oh, because it's not counting today's outing in the totals. That's weird. So no, it's 5 1/3. But still.
Right.
I mean, it's still 7 strikeouts in 5 1/3 and no hits, like no base runners. Well, that's not true, right? He had the error. So 1 base runner. I don't know if he's hit anybody. So we'll just go with no hits, no walks, okay?
That's fair.
But I mean, very effective. Majinski gives up a hit and a run in this one, gets a strikeout. He's still throwing really good. Bednar gets his 38th save, league tying with Diaz, right?
I believe so.
Okay. Jake believes so. That sounds right. Or Doval. Is it Doval? Is that his name? Doval? Over Camila Doval? Am I saying it wrong? You don't look like you're confident about what I'm saying here.
I know who you're talking about. I just don't know. I'm not the one to ask about pronunciation of names.
I'm just asking if I'm talking about the right person. Clase, okay, so National League. Because Clase's got 43, and then it's Bednar and Doval with 38. And then Alexis Diaz in Cincinnati is 37. So close.
Yeah, but I was just talking about the National League lead.
Right. National League lead.
So he's with Doval.
Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. Probably not getting a 40. They just won't use him like that. But, I mean, not that 38's anything to, be ashamed of.
Right.
Triolo, 2 doubles in this game. He's got 8 now. This guy's unbelievable. He's up to 299. Sawinski, 2 more hits, an RBI. Palacios, Rivas, 2 hits. And we already talked about Gonzalez. Bryce Harper thrown out of this game. First off,
that was such a terrible call.
Angel Hernandez is so bad. That was not even close to a swing. Like, that's a check swing if you look it up in the dictionary. You could even go further than that, and it still be a check swing. And Harper puts on a show. Actually wouldn't be surprised if he gets a little suspension or fine. Hopefully a fine just because they're where they are. Or maybe he's trying to sit out the last series. I don't really know. But MLB needs to look at that and say, well, it was a bad call.
Yeah.
It doesn't give him a pass to go out there and yell like that, but it was entertaining. And he throws
it
his
was.
helmet into the crowd.
He didn't need it no more.
No, certainly didn't. Well, I mean, he will, unless they're not planning on wearing those
Did you see
uniforms again.
Did you see just about the fist fight that just about broke out over it?
Oh my gosh. They ended up giving it to a 10-year-old kid.
Good.
Did you get to see it? Did you see the video of the
No.
kid? Oh, they
No.
interviewed the kid. It was pretty funny. He was like, I just said that I'm not going to catch it because there's a bunch of dads going after it. And so then he ends up, like they said, are you going to wear this to the wild or to one of the wild card round games? And he's like, no. Are you going to wear it to school? No. And they were like, yeah, dad said he's not wearing it to school. And then something else. What else did they ask him? Oh, Angel Hernandez threw him out. Is he now and caused all this? Is he now your favorite umpire? And he's like, no. So good. But it was pretty funny anyway. I mean, he does a better job than me, obviously, of being himself. So
Naturally.
you have to point out the Captain Obvious. Anyway, so we get one game. I think that's, they're a playoff team. I think we've played them pretty well, split the season series with them.
I was just still frustrated on that game too, man. You get out to a 6-0 lead or 5-0 lead, and it's just like you have to win that game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, these are the kind of things that have been happening, and especially, I mean, Oviedo is usually early and then settles in, but in this game it was the other way around.
Yeah.
So how about his comments after the game, which
We watched that right before we got on here, and I was dead. That's hilarious.
So we've said he's in the plan for the starting rotation next year. There's no doubt. And we're going to talk about the whole thing here, not just him being mad. Let's go ahead and get into Johan Oviedo.
Sure.
Because I think it's important because I know that there's a lot of conversation. We've said Keller and Oviedo are there, and the rest of it needs to get figured out.
Yeah.
So starts like this are like, where should he be in that rotation? Like, are we just saying Keller's 1, he's 2, let's work out the rest of it?
I mean, I'd like to say no. I'd like to say 1 and 3.
I would like to say 1 and 4. Let's think of Oviedo in general. Where does he belong in a rotation if you're trying to make a push to go to the postseason?
Honestly, 3 or 4 is fine.
Okay.
I think this dude has a lot more in the tank, a lot more to offer, and I think if he can get into that, like, dude's just built to be a stud. He's got good stuff. If he can just get that command down, and not let it just be like erratic, like, ooh, I got great command this inning. Oh, lost it for a second. Oh, I got it back again. Like, dude, hone that in, and he's gonna be good, man. I look at him as a legit 3.
Okay. And that's fair. I still think that there's a lot of questions to still be answered. For me, I'd really love to see a rotation where he's a number 4, where you have a free agent that comes in to be the number 2, and you have somebody else stepping up to take over number 3. You know what I'm saying? And then you round it out. Like, that would be ideal for me. The inconsistencies are just too much. And the fastball command is something that you can work on. You know what I mean? And so, like, even if that's there, to me, it's the fact of, like, we got to figure out the first inning. We got to figure out when you do get the first inning, it's the 5th inning, it's the 4th inning. You know what I mean? Like, what are we going to do here for you to go out and just pitch a full game? And I'm still waiting to see that. Now, he's done it a few times, but, like, that's where I'm saying you can fall into a number 4. If you're a number 3 and you're doing that, Maybe if your bottom two are just, I don't even know, but like, here's the thing. 1 through, what do they say? 1 through 4 is going to start 30 some games anyway, 31 to 33 games anyway. So what's it really matter? It's that 5th rotation guy, maybe spot start guy that is really like, that's the guy you're trying to hide. But like, generally, they all got to pitch anyway. It doesn't matter what order they're in.
Sure.
But when I think of just a tier list, I hope he's my 4th best pitcher.
And yeah, in a perfect world, it could be.
Yeah, which could look like a number, like your best pitcher every once in a while. That's fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? Lorenzen threw a no-hitter this year.
I was just going to say that. Everybody has the day where everything works.
Yeah.
They didn't get the pro ball because they stink.
That's right. Every single guy here has the stuff to be here.
Yeah.
It just matters of whether they have the stuff to stay here.
Right.
And I think Oviedo has that, which is why he's still like in ink, I think, in the rotation next year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's that already.
Right.
But I'm not saying he's a number 2. I'm not saying, yeah, let's build it around those 2 guys. Like, I'm not there, right? That should have been Roanzi.
Should have been.
And we'll get into that. Comments after Wednesday's game. He told DK that he thinks he needs to be more mad in order to pitch better. It says when he's mad, things go better.
It was funny how
you buying or selling though? Like regardless of whether it was funny, are you buying or are you selling?
I'm selling. That I don't like the mad. I don't like saying mad. Like chip on your shoulder, sure. With an attitude, sure.
Yeah, if you're telling me you're not scared to work the inside part of the plate no matter what anybody thinks, I'm with you there.
Yep.
But like, how far does this go when he says don't care what anyone else thinks? If you remember all year, specifically early in the year, something we were excited about was how much he shadows Rich Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So is this something coming from that? Because if so, I am not signing on to that. If he's going to start being mad at his teammates and mean to his teammates, I'm out. Why don't you talk to your teammates about what they think about that? Here's the thing, buddy. Why don't you just learn to be a good pitcher instead of you can't, that's a gimmick, man.
Right.
That's superstition, which I understand. We're all superstitious. All baseball players are superstitious. I get it. I did the same warm-up routine for 2 years in high school. And we all have our things, you know what I'm saying? But just saying oh yeah, I got to get ticked off. If I don't get ticked off, I'm not going to have a good night. What if you're just having a great day? Yeah. What are you going to do?
Just be mad at
whatever.
Come
how
on.
do you just be mad? And the only way you can do it is by ticking someone else off and then having them making you mad. And that's usually going to be one of your teammates or something. Like you're trying to find things to be mad about. And it reminds me of Rich Hill. And I just hope that that's not a real tactic.
Right. They what was it? He said when he's mad, he focuses in better on his pitches. Because they were like, we're not really understanding. We're not following.
Yeah. Just focus in on your pitches then.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I understand what he's saying and I get it. There needs to be some sort of, he's a big dude. So if you're talking about intimidation and working the inner half and not being afraid to go inside on somebody and, not being nice by saying I'm going to try not to hit you. No. I'm going to work inside. If I hit you, oh, my bad. If that's what he's saying, fine. If he's talking about being a jerk to his teammates, I'm out, dude. You can just...
Right.
You can take that somewhere else. To me, it's dude, you have the stuff. Why don't you just learn to be consistent so you don't have to get mad? You have an off season now to figure out how to do it without getting mad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand that. I don't get it.
If you want to pitch with that attitude, that's fine.
Yeah, an attitude's different than just like he literally said being mean.
Yeah.
So, all right. Just learn consistency. Only making it 5 innings each game is not helping. And I'm being really critical. I do like him. And every offseason you have an opportunity to make strides, to be better, all of that stuff. So I'm here for it. But, a week ago or whatever, when Doug was on here, we looked at his body of work and, I don't know how many games he gets through 6, 7, and 8. You know what I mean? Like, I need you to do that a little more often. He did have a complete game shutout this year.
Yeah.
We'll maybe bring that up. But anyway, this is going to be a point of improvement as we look forward to the offseason. And we're going to talk about that. We've got time. We don't have to get into that right now. We're going to have all offseason. We're going to have all postseason to talk about what we want the Pirates to do and all that. So I think it's time to start looking at the free agent market.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're saying, well, but we might have all these guys come up, well, that's cool. If we do and you've got an expensive pitcher, I'm sure somebody will take him in a trade if you want to offload the expensive guy, if that's where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Restock for another wave of young pitchers later, whatever you want to do. But like I said, we'll get into that later. So we're a little more than halfway through here. Let's get into some of those preseason over-unders. We've got 3 games left this year. We've got a basic idea of who's doing what, and we can kind of narrow it in and say, who do we have a chance to do something here? So we'll move kind of quick through some of these. We'll talk through some of the other ones. I thought it was really interesting how close the Steamer projections were for Brian Reynolds. I mean, just the projections in general were really close to his, like, he was projected at 24 homers. He has 24 right now. His OPS was projected to be 720. That's the wrong one. His OPS was 808. He's at 797. His RBIs were 82. He's at 83. Average at 268. He's at 265. Doubles at 30. He was at 30. Like, that's all really close.
Yeah.
So he's projected at 24. We set our over-under before the season at 27.5 because we thought that he would. We were saying, will he get, like, he had 24, then he had 27. And so we set our over-under, will he get better even this year? And we both, you picked over. I said under, and I said that he will hit 25. So let's go, Brian Reynolds. We got 3 games for 1 home run, and I'm in on that one. Average, we were both over, and we set ours at 279. But we both said he would be in the 280s. I went back and listened. Ke'Bryan Hayes, 12 home runs was the projection. We both chose over. He's at 15. So we got that one. I said I didn't think it'd be much more than 12. So I feel good. You did a little bit of a projection where you were trying to get him to 20 bombs. Mm-hmm. You got a comment?
I mean, so I was watching MLB Network the other day. Top 5 in, let me read this so I don't, mess it up.
That's fair.
Highest percentage of swings producing hard contact.
Okay. I love baseball.
95 plus, exit velo. You have Acuna, Soto, Yandy Diaz, Mookie Betts, and then Ke'Bryan Hayes. So top 5 in the percentage. And if he just, started getting the launch angle a little earlier in the season, he hits 20.
Yeah, that's fair. That should win him a Gold Glove.
Yeah.
Stolen bases, they had him at 19. I had him under. You had him over. You had him leading the team in steals when I listened back. He's at 10. I wonder if some of that's like, hey, let's just not get injured.
Yeah. Wasn't he running a lot in spring or something?
He was, yeah. And I think that's what kind of tapered off after that. O'Neal Cruz got hurt, so a lot of these are going to be broke there. Jack Sawinski, Home runs, 17 they had him at. We set our over-under at 24.5 just because we said, does he get to 25? And we both said he just misses 25 homers. He's at 26 in your face. Weighted runs created plus at 102. He's at 113. We both have him over. And I said he'd be between 110 and 115. He's at 113 right now. Let's go. Andy Rodriguez, games, 61. We both said under. We said at 81.5. I said 61 is probably a good number. He won't get to 61. He's at 55 right now. 3 games left. So,
yeah.
But I did say in that I thought that Keller would still choose another catcher. Now, he did just catch Keller the other day, and they went 5 no-hit innings. So, but it's kind of interesting that I said that back then. These are all just... How about G1 Bay? 12 steals was the over-under, but for some reason, we set it at 24.5. I don't know what we were doing. I actually thought that we were going to go away. We both went under, but because we set it that high, thing is, he's got 24.
Yeah.
You said he gets to 20, but he misses 25. And we basically talked about we didn't think he'd get enough playing time. Well, for some reason, he's getting all the playing time. So I also said if he has 2 months and these stolen bases are going to go the way that you say they are, because remember, you were way in on the stolen. You basically said someone's going to steal 80 or 70 bags this year.
And they did.
Yeah. While hitting 40 homers.
Right.
MVP?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, remember, we had this conversation before. I'm just going to bust into this real quick. We had this conversation before about Betts and Acuna, and I was like, I think it's Betts. If you look at the numbers before September, you still could have said Betts.
Yeah. And
the explosion happened. And Betts has dipped a little bit. Like, he's still great, but he's dipped a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like, no. I think they still have the same OPS. But what Acuna's done this last month, it's won him the award.
Yeah.
Mitch Keller, ERA 4.38. We both said under. We both said under 4. So 141 strikeouts, though, we both said over. And later I said that he would be 150. Still crushed us. Rowanzi was an upset. 431 was the projection. Man, we set it at 399 because we thought he was going to be under. We both said he would be over. I said he'd be around 420. You said he'd be in the 405 to 410. 659, we all know that story. Vince Velasquez, we both thought he would start more than 16 games. That's an injury. Rich Hill, I thought that was an interesting conversation. 21 we set it at. No, I'm sorry. We set it at 24.5. 21 was the projection. And I said during the conversation under because Quintana only had 22 starts before being traded. So I thought that he would be under 25. And Rich Hill hit 22 starts before he got traded. It's just ridiculous. I guess math, it works out. But
yeah.
Oviedo, we both thought he would be under 95 innings. That's hilarious because he pitched 177. Luis Ortiz, we both said that he would be over a 414. He's at a 478. Bednar, 31 saves. You said he'd be over that. I said he would be under. No, I said he'd be under 30 saves.
Yeah.
Because the year before, there was like 12 saves by other people because they'd use him in the 8th instead of the 9th, and I thought we would see that again. But we didn't. We didn't. So, pretty interesting stuff there. Mild predictions is the last thing we'll talk, or mild, like our predictions of the season. These are the only the things that that we basically go over. At the beginning of the year, we each had some mild and wild predictions. The mild predictions are things that we actually thought were going to happen. The wild predictions are things that we thought could happen but didn't necessarily think would happen, but are basically hopeful for those things.
Mm-hmm.
I said that 3 different hitters would reach 20 home runs. Now, I said that Reynolds and Cruz would definitely get to 20. Cruz got injured, so that put a damper on it. I said that Sawinski, and I listed some guys, and I said Sawinski was the most likely third guy to get to 20. I was there. I'm there. That would have been my 3.
Yeah.
And the potential that I had, there was like Santana and Hayes if he blew up, and I thought there was one more guy. Oh, I said like who knows if Castro figures things out, he will have the power to do that. I think that's it that I really said. I will say this: Santana had 12 while he was with the Pirates. He is at 22 right now.
Loophole.
So if we did a loophole, do I get it?
Sure.
You give it to me? All right, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I also said that Keller would reach 150 strikeouts, 210. I like yours. So let's start with Hayes, 20 home runs. And you just said your piece. You said if he hit like this all year, he would have had 20 easy.
Launch angle. I mean, he's hit like this all year, just not with the launch angle. He's produced hard contact all year.
Yeah, he definitely has. And
You
the
know what I
launch
mean?
angle has been up too, but yeah, I get it. More so.
Yep.
More so. He's at 15. He's unlikely to hit 5. But good showing from Key, though. I mean, you know what I mean? The other one you said I thought was interesting. Jose Hernandez, the Rule 5 pick, actually becomes a piece of our late inning bullpen. So he's probably not back end right now, but like I would say he's there next year. Like he's on this roster, and for a lot of Rule 5 picks, you wouldn't even say that.
Right.
But he's got every bit of chance to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like that one. Late inning, I don't know. Where did he pitch? 7th inning and lost and needed Selby to get him out. The other day, he pitched. Did he pitch tonight? No. Okay.
Mm-mm.
So just once in this series. But yeah, I mean, Baraki's kind of took a little bit of it. They really haven't used the lefty in late innings. They've just gone to Holderman and Bednar, and lately Majinski, regardless of right or left. So that was a good one. Wilds. These are the ones we did not think. Or it's like it's like you think it can happen, but it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Mine were based on O'Neal Cruz and JT Brubaker, so I'm out. Although I did say that my wild prediction, which I ended up not liking, I did say that he would get moved to the bullpen because he'd either be pushed out there or he'd get injured. So maybe it's all my fault. You had an interesting one. Keller pitches a complete game shutout.
Let's go.
Him and Oviedo did it.
Yeah.
I think the year before, one of my wild predictions was that anyone on the Pirates would do it. And I didn't think it was possible. You also said Cruz makes the All-Star game and home run derby, injured. And you said that Cruz and Reynolds get to 30 home runs. Cruz is hurt. Reynolds, 24. So those are the wilds. Those ones we don't expect to get right. I enjoy doing that stuff. I think it's fun. I think it's good to put you in check a little bit, because like as a fan, you want everything to be like really good. But when you sit down and you think about it, you're like, dang, man. Sometimes you find out things that are good about players, but a lot of times you're like, yeah, I don't know that, you know what I mean? Like the Braves have 5 players in their starting 9 with 30 plus homers, 5 of them. And only 2
ridiculous.
guys are under 20 homers, and they have 17 and 18 home runs, unless either one of them hit a home run tonight, which is completely possible. Today, they scored 5 runs. So let's just see if we got closer. While we're digging through, we need Harris and Arcia. Their last hitters, they did not. Harris had a run and a RBI. So I was,
Yeah.
but he had a double. Olsen hit number 54 tonight.
I was gonna say, did they hit any? Because they're pushing the home run record, the team home run record.
Well, they're over 300 now.
Yeah, they're only like the third team that hit at 300. The Yankees hold the record at like 307.
Last I looked at the actual thing, it was them at 299 and Dodgers at 240. That's how far ahead they are.
Yeah.
I mean, this is quite literally the best offense that I can remember, but I'm not really thinking that hard, but certainly that I can remember. I mean, you got two guys who are hitting 8 and 9 who have 17 and 18 home runs, and everyone else is hitting more than you.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
Yeah, I'm kind of rooting for them to break that record just because it's a fun record to see.
Yeah.
But I'm also rooting for them to lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, you got to be quiet.
Listen, handshake deal. If they lose in the first round of the playoffs, their first round of the playoffs,
Okay.
Ashley's a Pirates fan the entire next season.
No way.
We go to the home opener in Pittsburgh the same day. They're the same day. The home openers are the same day next year.
Okay.
If they win the World Series, no ands, ifs, or buts about it. We go to Atlanta's opening day.
Oh.
Anywhere in between, it's a flip of the coin.
But losing the first round, you go to Pittsburgh.
If they lose in the first round, we go to Pittsburgh, and she's a Pirates fan for the entire season.
Wow. Do you have to be a Braves fan?
No.
It's just the home opener for you.
It's just
How is that
opener.
a lopsided bet? Can she still be a Braves fan?
If it's in the middle?
Yeah, like if they lose in the first round and you said she's a Pirates fan the whole year, can she still be a Braves fan and a Pirates fan?
Yeah.
What if they're playing each other? She can still go for her team.
She's got to root for the Pirates. She has to. That's the deal.
Oh, how did this come up?
It just, she says, there's no way they lose in the first round of the playoffs this year. I said, I don't know.
So you just said how good do you feel about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Yark, Connor Joe's at 1.6. What was even the mark? 2.5?
I thought it was 2, but yeah,
I always forget because it seems impossible. And he's had a better year than I would have said. 11 home runs, almost 30 doubles. You know what I mean? Like
he'll probably get to 30 doubles.
He's sitting at 29 right now. So
he's got one in the tank next series.
He's got one in the tank. Well, we're at I think it's about 53 minutes here. We've got the Marlins coming up, but it's TBD throwing for both games or both teams, and I think it's probably going to be heavily decided for them anyway of what they have to do. But man, if you're a fan of, I guess, the Reds, the Cubs probably most, you're probably upset at the fact that the Pirates have 0 starting pitchers to go in that series.
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea what we're going to see. Who do we have? Because we've thrown 3 starters in this series. Falter's out. Keller, we know, is not pitching his scheduled game. So, I don't know where...
Jared Jones gets that start.
Ooh, I like that. Osvaldo Bido probably gets a start, or at least bulk. Andre Jackson is going to get a bulk, but whether he gets a start, I mean, I guess that's a good call. There's still one more game, and so those 2 guys will for sure get it, but is it going to be Jared Jones? That's really interesting. What if they brought up like Roanzi for that last game?
They already shut Roanzi down for the year.
Yeah, that's right. Just thinking out loud. Is Priester still there?
Yeah.
Okay. So it'll be Priester, Jackson, and and Beto.
Unless they want to give a shot. I mean, they could easily throw Keller on a 15-day DL or IL.
Right. With a funny bone.
Right.
I still can't get over the whiplash comment. I can't get over it. It's just too much for me. I can't get over it. It's so wild. That's what it feels like. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what do we have coming up here? We've got this is our last Friday episode of the season.
Yeah.
So I don't have my Hawaiian shirt day clip. I need to work on my clip game a little bit. But last Friday episode of the season. Next Friday there will not be a show. We will, now that the postseason off season is coming, we're going to go back to one show a week. Hopefully what this is going to do is give you guys the, without games happening and being able to talk about what happened in these last 3 games. Hopefully we have a little bit of time to dig in to some things and get you some really cool content. Thank you. That's the word. Just to try to, get a little deeper dive into a few things as we get through. Postseason, we'll probably talk about some of the postseason games, but we'll have some Pirate-centric topics as well, obviously. Mm-hmm. We're going to get into what we think in the offseason, and I've got some hopes and dreams of what I'd like to see happen.
We'll work on getting some guests in here too.
Yeah, we do need to get some more people. If you guys are interested in coming and talking ball with us, let us know. We'll get some of you guys on, whoever's listening. If you just want to talk, you want to share the screen a little bit and the microphone, let's do it. We'd like to hear from more people. So, But yeah, want to get some people in. Be fun. Jake's going to interview him all by himself. We're going to get some interview guests. I'm just going to produce.
It's been a minute, man.
Yeah. Let's play some music.
Yeah. I'm game for that.
Thanks for listening all year on Fridays, guys. It's been a lot of fun and very busy.
Yeah. My next week's going to be so busy.
Yeah. You got
big
all
festival, like 100,000 people coming down to our little town. It's going to be crazy.
Yep. Let's go Bucks.
Let's go Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks!